Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I am finally making my return to YouTube again. I feel like I've said that a bunch this summer, so first of all I do apologize for my sporadic schedule, but it is really good to be back. And this is going to be an update video, and it's going to be a pretty long one, so I'll have timestamps in the bottom in the description if you want to skip around and just hear about specific parts. But yeah, I think this is going to probably be the longest update video I've ever done because I just want to talk to you guys about, my life, my involvement in VGC, my involvement in Pokemon, and where I want to take this in the next couple of years, because I spent a lot of time, especially in the last year, thinking about this. And before I get started, I just want to thank all of you guys for constantly being incredible fans and supporters and incredible people in general. Like, I love the Pokemon community, and I think one of the reasons why I keep coming back is because I get to meet some of you guys at events and talk to you online, and it just makes all of this really worth doing. So from the bottom of my heart, and for I think a lot of other VGC players, like, thank you for just being incredible fans, players, supporters, and whatnot, because you guys make the scene what it is. So yeah. But I guess to get started, I've tried to make this video a couple of times, and I just feel like I keep rambling on, so I'm really sorry if I end up just repeating myself or just saying things, or I keep on going, but there's been a lot on my mind, and so I guess I'll just get started. And like I said, there will be timestamps in the description below if you want to follow along. So I guess first of all, I want to talk about what's been on my mind for the last maybe couple of seasons, but especially the last season. So obviously I'm a competitive VGC player. I compete in tournaments and I try to play at the highest level. And I'm also, a content creator. I make YouTube videos for you guys. I stream on Twitch very occasionally, but that's something I want to focus on more. And I'm also just a regular college kid. I'm a rising. I actually just moved in and I'm about to start my junior year at my current school. And I'll talk about my real life a little bit later because I think that applies to how this all ties into my, involvement in Pokemon. But, there are a bunch of ways that I'm involved in the scene. I think a lot of people who do VGC, they're either just a content creator, or just a YouTuber, or just a competitive player, or, a casual player. One of those. But, for me, I'm a commentator as well, right? So I do a bunch of things in the scene. And so, with that, I've spent a lot of time thinking about priorities. Just where I want to go with my life in general, where I want to go with my life in Pokemon. And this season was pretty tough for me. In 2016, I qualified for Worlds pretty early, but I decided not to compete because I was offered a spot on the commentary team by the Pokemon Company International. And that was always a dream of mine, to commentate for Pokemon. And, 18 is, the legal age, the minimum legal age you have to be to commentate. And so when I turned 18, they offered me the role. And I didn't like the 2016 format that much, and I was like, okay, let's do it. I'm going to go for it. And it was a dream come true. I worked with literally some of my best friends in Pokemon. I saw some of my best friends win. It just do so well at Nationals and Worlds, and it was just so fun. But going into 2017, I was like, okay, I like the format. That's what I said in the beginning, and I think I still do. And I want to give it, one more go at doing well at Worlds, because for the last couple of years, in 2013, that was my first year in Masters. I got third at Worlds. In 2014, I went 4-2, missed out on the top 8. 2015, went 4-3. So, I got slightly worse every year, but both years, I was 3-1 going into the last couple of rounds. And just a couple of key mistakes that I still think about, kept me away from making that top 8. And that's the thing about VGC, especially at Worlds. You really can't afford to make many mistakes, if any. And so, completely on me. I spent a lot of time thinking about the mistakes that I made in previous years and how I could have done better at those previous World Championships. And I was like, okay, let me use all the lessons that I learned to go into 2017. I qualified for Worlds pretty early on, or not pretty early on, but I think back in March. And so I had a couple of months in between, took a break then, and then, came US Internationals where I felt really good about my team. And I just busted out after starting 5-1. I just needed to win 2 more, and I only won 1. And that was really disappointing, but I was like, okay, I think I learned the lessons for here. I'm gonna do my best and have a good Worlds run. And then, as Worlds kept creeping up, I realized that I wasn't putting in the time to practice because, I was either busy with my internship or I just wanted to focus on hanging out with my friends from home. And for me, that's really important because I go to school in California. All my best friends from home are on the East Coast, and so I don't see them very much throughout the year. So spending time with them. And I realized that, wow, I just don't have the motivation to, build a really cool team for Worlds. And I tried, but it was tough. And in the end, ultimately, at Worlds, I ended up using something like what I was familiar with, but I thought I could at least get me through day 1. And I think it was a pretty good meta call, but I just played absolutely terribly. I think that was the worst tournament I ever played, and I think my opponents also were just all one level above of me that tournament. And so, I wasn't even close. I went 1-3 in day one, and that was it. I sat there and I thought, like, wow, this sucks. Like, I wanted to go out with a bang, at least top cut worlds one more time. 3 top cuts in total, that would be really nice in my career, and maybe even win it all. But obviously that didn't happen. And so afterwards, I sat down and I thought to myself, I, left the convention hall, just listened to some music, and I was like, okay, what do I want to do now in the future? And the realization I came to in the last year, really maybe the last couple of years, is that my motivation really just isn't with competing as much anymore, and I don't find it fun or as fun anymore. And I think that's a major issue for me, because I don't think you should ever have a hobby that's not fun, right? Like, we have hobbies because we enjoy them. And for me, like, I felt like half the tournaments this year that I went to, I think I went to 8 tournaments total. And so it wasn't that many, but half of them, it was just like, I was there and I was like, wow, like, I spent money to come here. Did I have a good time? Not really, because I didn't do well. Even if I did do well, I was like, well, were there better things that I could have done with my friends back at school? Could I have spent this money better in some way, shape, or form, etc.? And I think that's probably the main motivator for why I don't want to compete as much, because I'm not having as much fun anymore. And I don't want to disappoint you guys, but I think like for me this is best for me. And I think like part of the reason why I competed in 2017 was because I think a fair amount of fans were like, oh, like it'd be really nice to see you back on the field, like I always cheer for you, and I like didn't want to let them down. So I was like, all right, let me do it. But then I'd go out, compete, not do well, and then I'd feel bad as well. And so maybe call me washed up. I think that I can still play the game at a high level, but I think that if I'm not having as much fun, it's a lot more difficult for me to go to events, do well, and also enjoy myself. Because I think it's not a coincidence that the better seasons that I had in 2012 and 2013, where I performed not only on the regional level, but also the national and the world level, part of the reason why I did well was because I really enjoyed, the formats. I love the game. I love the competition. And now I still enjoy it now and then, but it's not as frequent. It's not like every tournament I go to, wow, I really love this. I'm having a great time. And so basically what I'm saying here is that next season, I really want to focus more on commentary again. And as of right now, my plan is to commentate all the regionals that I'm invited to, as well as US internationals or NA internationals and the World Championships. And part of the reason for that is because when I was not commentating NA internationals and Worlds this year, and after I had lost, I was like, wow, this is like such a lame feeling, seeing everyone and seeing all my commentator friends up there, seeing my friends compete up there, and not be able to like hype up these sets and improve my commentary and offer what I can in that space. And the reason why I think commentary is really important to me is because I love esports and competitive gaming in general. And, some of the games that I love the most, like Smash Bros. Or League of Legends, like the commentators were really what got me into it. Hearing the way they cast the games and tell the stories, like that was just so much for me. And I think Pokemon, like we can all do a better job with commentary, myself definitely included. And so that's something I want to really vastly improve in. And basically what I want to do, or what I want to say is, I think I'm pretty content with my VGC career overall, with my accomplishments, with what I've been able to do, and I think I've been able to prove that I can play at the highest level. But obviously, the one thing I haven't done is actually win Worlds. I came in top 8 in 2012, top 4 in 2013, so close, but not enough. And I think the one comment that, like, I normally kind of just laugh off at most comments that are negative in any way, shape, or form, but I think the one comment that somewhat kind of ticks me up when I see it is like, oh, Aaron Zhang, he's like an okay player, he's a good player, but he's never good enough to win Worlds, and he never will be. And I think that's like a fair comment, because I don't think I've especially shown that I am a player that deserves or is good enough to win Worlds, at least in the more recent years. But I know back in like 2012 and 2013, like 11 through 13, when I was first, when VGC was maybe a little bit smaller, but I was really passionate about it. Like those years, I really felt like, okay, like my chances of winning Worlds, like I feel super good about. And I definitely didn't feel that about this season, 2016. 15 maybe, and 14 I think I actually was pretty content with my chances that year, and it was just like poor play. But point being is, I don't want to be playing at Worlds if I don't think I have a solid shot at winning Worlds. And so this video might be a little bit premature, because who knows, maybe I end up loving the 2018 format. I'm like, okay, maybe this is the year where I do it. But as of right now, it's like, in general, VGC competing just isn't as fun, and commentary is so much more fun. Also, I think the financial stability is something I do need to mention. I do want to be completely transparent with you guys, right? I don't do Pokemon for the money at all, because at the end of the day, this is still a hobby. So, some of my friends are like, why don't you do YouTube or Twitch or play Pokemon full time? And I'm just like, because, you know, if that were the case, I would be stressed out about it. I'd be living day to, or, you know, month to month on this one YouTube paycheck or this one, you know, on tournament performances or whatever. And I don't think that's how I want to approach the game at all. Like, I do it because I enjoy being in the scene and I enjoy having a good time and I enjoy being able to do this on my own time. But with that being said, at the end of the day, I'm a kid in college, and, you know, any extra money that I make helps my parents. It helps me give back to them, give back to the organizations that I've been part of course, helps pay for the college tuition and helps me, you know, go do more fun stuff with my friends in real life and whatnot. And so that's also kind of, it's not the main motivation, right? But it's something I have to be realistic about as well. And it's an opportunity cost to compete in tournaments that I could otherwise be commentating. And so I guess what I want to say in this portion of the video is that I just don't find VGC as fun anymore. I've been kind of burned out because this is my 10th season of competing. And when I didn't do well at Worlds at all this year, I realized, okay, like, I don't want to be playing on Worlds again unless I go into a tournament and say, okay, you know, I might have a less than 5% chance of winning this competition, but I've done all the prep that I can put in and all the work that I put in. And that definitely wasn't the case at this last Worlds. And I think I'll be able to find that motivation and drive again if I really love the format, if I really miss competing, and a mix of everything. And so that's why I want to kind of put competing kind of in the back seat for this upcoming season. I will still plan on going to a couple of regionals, like Portland I'd like to go to just to see if I could defend my title. That'd be nice. And I do want to win one more regionals just so I can tie Wolf for the most regionals and Masters and have just the most regional victories in total. I think 6 would be the most. Maybe some junior or senior has 7, but I'm not sure about that. But overall, like, yeah, I'm content with my VGC career. It's just that I haven't been able to win Worlds, and I don't want to stop playing, honestly, until I do, but I also don't want to play in Worlds unless I feel like I really love the game again. And so that's why I think commentary is the best way for me to still stay in the scene, for me to see people, for me to tell stories, for me to do something that I love while, you know, not, you know, feeling bad for, or not feeling bad, but just, or taking a break from something. So yeah, I mean, that's like 12 minutes of me kind of saying the same thing over and over again, but I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. And I really, really, like, for those that want to see me compete and play out nationals and worlds, like, I really hope you guys understand, because for me, like, I don't want to I hate disappointing my fans. I also obviously hate disappointing myself. And if I don't feel like I'm giving my all, which I definitely don't think I've been doing in recent years, then I don't want to be competing when I could be doing commentary. And so, yeah, that's pretty much it regarding that. So, TL, you know, too long didn't watch to summarize this portion. Basically, competing in VGC hasn't been as fun for me in recent years. I'd love to win Worlds, obviously, and that's still such a big goal of mine, but I don't think that's something that's really realistic until I really refine the love for format and for the game specifically. And so in order to take a short break from that, I'm going to be commentating again. I'll still go to a couple of regionals, probably the SoCal one, the Portland one, and maybe, I think, the Vancouver one. Those are the 3 ones I plan on competing in. So yeah, and if I qualify for Worlds off those, who knows, maybe I'll decide 2018, I love this format, this is the format, like, but until then, as of right now, my focus is more on commentary. So that's the first thing. I guess the next thing to talk about is, obviously, you know, you guys watch my YouTube content, YouTube and Twitch and whatnot. I think, you know, I realize that as a content creator, I still have a lot more that I can offer, and that I can do a lot better job than what I currently do just with YouTube and Twitch, Twitch especially. And I want to be frank and honest with you guys, because I feel like, you know, there's so many times where I say, I'm going to do this, and then I end up maybe not doing it. And I need to be realistic with myself as well. Part of the reason why that ends up being the case is because real life is just unpredictable. And that is especially true given, like, my academic structure and what I'm studying and what I'm trying to do outside of Pokemon and whatnot. But I do want to spend the time that I otherwise would spend, like, preparing and competing in tournaments to focus more on YouTube. And so obviously, like, you know, Road to Ranked, the most popular series, Battle Spot series, that's going to be around for 2018. But just more stuff. I think, like, I guess the best way to describe this is, some of you guys may know Thorin. He is a content creator for esports in general, and he covers a lot of different games. I kind of want to be able to do what Thorin does before Pokemon and VGC specifically. And, you know, I started this series, The National Gym Choir, and I only did 1 episode on it, but that's something I really want to explore more. Kind of like a podcast or a talk show series where I either just talk to, you know, in general about my favorite players, my favorite play styles, my favorite teams, why this player did, you know, outstanding at this tournament. Let's talk about why this tournament was so special in the context of the season. Let's talk about this player's legacy. Let's talk about how to grow the scene. Let's talk about, streaming and all this stuff. Like, there's so many different topics where I think I can maybe give you guys some insight. I don't know if you guys like listening to me talk about stuff that's not related to gameplay specifically, but I think because I've been around for so long, that's maybe something that's valuable. And I know it's something that I want to do. And so that's one thing. And also just like being friends with so many great players from around the scene, I think it'd be really cool to have like, podcasts or things where I have multiple top players. Imagine gathering like 2 or 3 world champs like Ray, Wolf, or Rosh, for example, and just talking to all of them and hearing about their perspectives about being literally the best in the world. Like, that'd be cool as well. And so I think because I have a wider VGC audience or wider YouTube audience than other content creators might have in VGC, I think that's something that I could expose more people to, because my main priorities right now are basically in growing the scene as opposed to winning worlds. And that's something that has been the case maybe for a while now, but that's something that I need to, publicly say and let you guys know. Because I think when you look at the VGC space on YouTube in general, right? Like, even a lot of the top VGC players, they don't have as big YouTube followings because they just haven't been around as much, or they haven't done it as much. And I got super lucky when I started YouTube. Like, some of you guys may have found me through the other big Pokemon YouTubers, which I'm so grateful for. But my point is, because I have a slightly larger audience, I want to be able to capitalize off that more, like introduce VGC to even more people and help them get into tournaments and compete and stuff. Because I know at the end of the day, like, people watch the content, and I'm so grateful for that. And so basically how this ties into my earlier point was, in the time that I normally spend maybe practicing for tournaments or preparing, like, I want to just spend that more on YouTube and Twitch. It's also a little bit easier for me now because, like, in the past years I've had roommates. This year I have a single at college, and so I think it'll be easier to make content and stream in general because I don't have to worry about, my roommate's schedule or random people popping in and out here and there. And so I think that'll be a little bit easier for me as well. And so hopefully I'll be able to just do more stuff on YouTube and Twitch in general, and just let me know, as always, in the comments what you would like to see, because I really do want to kind of reinvent myself in those two regards. Twitch especially, because Twitch, like, was something that I've been doing before most VGC players, and I got a sub button pretty early on, but it was something that I didn't take advantage of much. But now that Twitch chat is actually enabled in, official Pokemon streams, I think that's really cool, and so that's something that I want to do more, just because I think it'd be really cool to have all these emotes of your favorite players or whatever, and seeing people spam that in VGC chat, like, for Pokemon. I think that would be kind of cool. And, I don't know if you guys follow streamers in general, but for me, like, Mango is one of my favorite streamers for Super Smash Brothers, and, like, he's still able to compete at the highest level, but also, like, he's an incredible streamer, and so I want to be able to do something similar to him. And it's like, every time Mango is playing in a tournament, or just, his emotes are used all the time because he's just this great figure for that scene. And so, yeah, I'm not saying I'm going to be the Mango of Super Smash Bros. Just because, his ability to compete is also just always so high. But to give you some parallel, I guess, I look up a lot to his Twitch, and I hope I can do something similar. And I guess the third thing that I want to touch on is just give you guys some perspective on what I'm doing in real life and why this all kind of ties in. So I'm currently about to start my 3rd year, or my junior year, over here at Claremont McKenna College over in California. I'm studying economics here, and I'm actually in a 5-year program, so my plan is to go to Columbia University after this year. There's a direct program that allows liberal arts schools such as mine, and liberal arts students, to go into Columbia after they finish 1 degree at their current school. So for those that don't know, Columbia is in New York City. I'm from New York City, and it was an institution that I always, really wanted to go to. And, this program allows me to fulfill that perfectly. So my plan is to get 2 bachelor degrees in 5 years, finish my economics degree here, get my applied math degree there, and then figure out how to apply that to the real world. In terms of careers, still something that's always on my mind, but I think that's also something that's become more prevalent because for, a lot of American students in their later years of college, they'll get internships, they'll work full time. And I've been, having internships where I work 40+ hour weeks, and those aren't too intensive, but given the fields that I might be interested in going to, I think the hours might be a little bit more intense, and it's something where I really need to do a good job in. And, like, career is very important to me. Being able to graduate from college, do something that I really enjoy, and obviously something that pays for the bills, pays for the loans for college, pays for myself and everything. Like, that's the main focus. And so, yeah, like, because of that, and because, like, real life is starting to hit a little bit more, so with my program, like, I have a couple of classes I only have like one class that I really need to finish up now, and as long as I don't like screw that up, I'll have guaranteed acceptance into Columbia. But like with last year, I was traveling a bunch. I went to London, I went to Melbourne, and fortunately, I got all the grades that I needed. But I cut some edges were like kind of close, right? So it's like I don't want to be cutting it as close anymore, and I want to like focus a little bit more on just like having a good last year at my current school, enjoying my time here with my friends, with everything that I'm involved in here, and just really getting to know more people and enjoying my college experience more. And it's weird because it's not like I traveled an immense amount in either 2016 or 2017 for Pokemon, but I really feel like you do feel, I don't know, like every weekend where I would fly, like I flew maybe six or seven tournaments in addition to commentating, so I guess there was a little bit more. But it was like, it's a whole weekend you're missing out on campus. It's exhausting traveling. You come back from a weekend, you got classes right after. You miss out on a weekend with your friends. And for me, like a lot of the times it wasn't satisfying for me. And so that's where I'm going in terms of just real life motivation. And so with the program I'm doing, like I want to do a good job. And I think like once I go to Columbia over in New York, like it's going to be a lot more academically intensive given the rigor of their academic program and their engineering school in general. And I don't think, like, I never considered myself the smartest kid, and definitely not the hardest working kid. So, I'm gonna have to be able to put in a lot of work to really keep up with the best students there. And so that's also like why I'm kind of shifting more towards commentary, just kind of preparing myself for that. But I guess overall, I don't want to say, like, I don't want you guys to think, oh man, like Aaron Zhang's never competing again. Oh, Aaron's never gonna play at Worlds again. And I also like my main motivator is proving the people that say that I will never win Worlds wrong, right? Because like that's like that kind of, those comments are really what motivates me the most. Like in 2013, I remember, I think one of the reasons why I did well at Worlds that year was because I was a first year master, and there was like a preview article before Worlds started, and it was all these players and their perspectives on who would make like the top 8 of that tournament. And I think like for almost no one predicted me to get top 8. Everyone put me as like 9th or 10th or 11th, like one of those players that's maybe good enough, but I'm not confident in them. And so that was like a major motivator. And so similarly to that, like I really want to be able to come back one day and say, okay, I'm really going to give it my all, but until I find the game really fun and like I'm super passionate about it, I don't want to be competing in Worlds because then I feel like I'm just, wasting my time, wasting your time, wasting my fans' times and whatnot. And so, yes, I think that's more or less what I wanted to cover. So thank you guys for listening. This was not as long as I thought it would be, I guess. But I guess to summarize, overall, point one, competing in VGC hasn't been as fun for me. And I love the traveling aspect of it, which is why I made an extra effort to go to London and Melbourne this season. But the competitions themselves were just not fun at all, and I didn't have a good time. And so I don't find VGC as fun anymore. And I think even back then, it's like, oh, if I wouldn't do well at a tournament, I think I'd still come out and be like, wow, I had a great time. Now it's like, if I don't do well at a tournament, I just feel really, really bad. And so until I find that motivation again, I don't want to be competing at like, the international level, specifically Worlds. So this season, going to go to 3 regionals, going to commentate the rest of the regionals, going to commentate NA internationals probably if I'm invited. And if I qualify for Worlds, then I'll make I'm not going to 100% say I'm commentating Worlds. It's a decision I'll make later on, but I am leaning a lot more towards commentating right now. I'm going to be prioritizing YouTube and Twitch, hopefully, and doing more content that's related outside of battle content, just to give you guys more perspective on the VGC scene, because I think we lack a lot of that content. Like I said earlier, Thorin is someone that I kind of refer to in that space specifically. And in terms of real life, like, real life is becoming more real. I'm in a kind of academically rigorous program. It's called like a 3-2 economics engineering program. So I don't think I specified what it was, but yeah, I want to bore you with the specifics of it, but there are a lot of classes I need to take for that. And I've been able to balance Pokemon with that so far, but it's something that I also just want to enjoy my last year at my current school more. And I know that once I transfer over to my next school for my second degree, it's also going to be a whole new transition and a whole new challenge. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys aren't too disappointed. I hope you guys understand. And I know there's some people out there that's like, haha, Aaron Zhang hasn't won a Worlds, and he never will now because he's never playing again. But I laughed that off, and hopefully one day I'll be able to come back when I really rediscover the love and motivation for it again. And it's still a dream of mine to win Worlds. And like in 2013, I came so close. I could have played so much better in that semifinal set. And back then I was so happy because I was like, wow, I did better than I expected. I did better than probably most people expected. My brother won the World Championships in juniors. Like, what an amazing weekend. That was probably still one of the best weekends of my life. But a couple years here later, and I just like, I sometimes really just like think about it, and I close my eyes and I think about what would happen if the swagger missed or if I didn't attack through the confusion. Obviously, you know, I still would have had to win another set, but it stings. It honestly stings a little bit. And so I want to use that as motivation as well for the future. But yeah, that is pretty much it. So don't expect me to leave. I'm still going to be in the scene pretty much as I was in this past year. But I wanted to give you guys some perspective on why I don't want to compete as much anymore and why I want to take a break. Because this is definitely not the end. It's just a break. And I don't know how long that break will be. Maybe it'll be up until Worlds. Like, maybe I do compete in Worlds. Maybe it ends up being 3 seasons. Maybe I just never play in Worlds ever again. Who knows? A lot of that is really going to come down to the formats, what I'm doing in real life, like, you know, my internship, my jobs, stuff like that, and whether I love VGC as much as I used to, competing specifically. So, yep, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for, as always, for everything. I'm really sorry I didn't do that well at Worlds, or I'm really sorry I just bombed Worlds this year. Like, you know, to be honest, I wasn't that bummed out about it because I spent a lot of time, like, I kind of expected it, to be honest. I think Pokemon now is a game where, like, you really can't get away with lazy team building or lazy play, and you do have to put in more preparation more than ever because players are just so much better than they used to be. But, yeah, you know, that's the realization that I came to in the last year or so. But maybe last couple of years. Like, I've been feeling this way for quite a while now, but I still wanted to be in the scene. I'm just, like, really disappointed because I started doing YouTube in 2014, and I haven't top cut a world since then. And, like, it stings being close, but not really quite getting there. And I don't know, like, I just imagine how great would it be if I could finally win Worlds just in front of all these fans that I've acquired throughout the years, not only for myself, but for all you guys, because you support me every step of the way. Like, one thing that's also incredible to me is that the VGC community and the fans are just so nice, because I don't think I could be doing this if there were mean fans. Like, I look at other competitive games and how, like, brutal the fans are, like sports in general. I mean, sports fans, oh god. I can imagine going on Twitter after losing a playoff game or something like that. And same with esports in general. Like, I see how brutal fans can be to a lot of esports stars out there, and I'm just like, man, Pokemon fans are so, so great, and they're always so kind, and I thank you guys because that makes my life a lot easier when I don't do well, and it makes me feel a lot better, honestly, because I think it'd be a lot harder to do this for any competitive player, but especially for one that has maybe a larger following to be able to do that. So, yep, that is more or less what I wanted to say. I didn't talk too much about my priorities in real life, but I think you guys get a gist. Basically, like, the program I'm in is pretty academically intensive. I'm trying to get 2 degrees in 5 years, and I'm going to, like, my current school is already pretty academically rigorous, and then the next school is going to be definitely even harder, and so I do want to be able to do a good job in those places, and also just make the most out of my undergraduate experiences. But I think, time management is really important, and I think I'm able to manage Pokemon with college. It's just figuring out how to allocate that time so I'm happy pretty much all the time. Okay, guys, that's going to be it. Thank you guys for listening. Road to Rank should be back up tomorrow, and then there's a lot of content that I want to do, and if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments below. We're in that weird phase where it's like, okay, Worlds has ended. We're going to be playing the same format probably for a little bit longer, so I don't know what kind of content you guys want to see. If you want to see me play Battle Spot doubles, let me know. If you want to see me do, VGC 17, let me know. If you want to see all kinds of random stuff, all in the comments below. And the other exciting things to look forward to is Baz Anderson and I are in the semifinals of the Multi-Battle League, so I'd love to win that since we lost in the finals last season to Team Dreamball, so please support us and cheer us in that. But thank you guys for supporting me, either as a YouTube content creator, a commentator, a competitor. It's been an incredible journey, and this certainly isn't the end, but I hope this gives you guys some perspective on my feelings and where I want to go. And as always, thank you guys for watching. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.